you said no internet connection, then your video went away. I was like, oh shoot, it's dropping.
Yeah. I think it popped up. I think we're good. All right, man. How you looking? Like, I feel like this is the worst card so far that they've put together since the pandemic.
Definitely the worst card. Yeah, I guess
it's worse than the two pay-per-views. This one's far worse. Like, it's not even like. I mean, the featherweight belt isn't even real at this point.
Yeah, no, that last pay-per-view event was probably one of the greatest pay-per-view events I've ever seen lineup-wise.
Yeah.
I don't remember the last time the UFC's put out something like even close to that. That was just ridiculous. But yeah, no, this card, it's very mediocre. The main card, I'm super excited about certain fights in the main card, and even a couple in the prelim, the early prelims for me now are nothing except for Gilbert Burns' little brother.
I think just because he's Gilbert Burns' brother, though.
I have a lot of faith in him now, finding that out. You know, they're training partners or something. But I'm super excited for that Sandhagen fight in the main card. But
yeah,
it'll still be good.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't know. Like the prelims are pretty subpar. Early prelims similar. But the main event's all right. Like, I think the main card and everything is okay. It's a pretty weak main event. The card itself, main card is okay. I'm still watching it. I'm not paying for it, but I'm watching it.
Exactly. The only thing is, I just find it hard. Like, it's a good matchup for Nunes in the main event, but just hard to keep throwing matchups at her. Like,
she's beating everybody.
Yeah, I find it's going to be hard to take her down from anybody in that division.
Yeah.
But,
all right, let's get started, man. So we'll start at the bottom. It's hard to predict these fights because, some of these guys are up and comers, off losing skids. I don't really know a whole lot. I haven't watched much film on some of these guys. So Herbert Burns, Evan Dunham. I have Herbert Burns just because he had a pretty impressive knockout last time out, and Evan Dunham's coming off retirement. So Evan Dunham could have been training with George St. Pierre on the top of a mountain somewhere and could come out looking unbelievable. But, usually when you have a guy coming off a layoff, there's ring rust and everything.
Especially that late career kind of retirement. It's, definitely Gilbert Burns' little brother on that one.
And, Herbert Burns, like you said, he's Gilbert Burns' little brother, so he's training with some, potential world champions. So I'm thinking Herbert Burns on that.
Definitely, for sure on that one. The next one, gonna be hard after you said that Menefield guy. So you said he's undefeated?
Undefeated, 9-0, all finishes in the first or second round.
Only one of those was a submission. All the rest were knockouts. Yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to pick against him, so I think I'm going to lean with him.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. Devin Clark is good, but he tends to be like the standard. If you're good enough to beat him, you're in the UFC. If you're not, you're out. So I think Menefield's going to take it quite convincingly.
Yeah, I could see that going in the first or second round.
And then this next one's actually decent for a way to end out the early prelims. I think it says a lot about the flyweight division, though. Like, they're throwing up ranked flyweight fighters to close out the early prelims. Like, these guys could easily be on the main card in terms of ranking, but not name-wise. Like, they're not big enough names, and I think it says a lot about the flyweight division.
Yeah. It's like they're going from the flyweight division then into all these bantamweight fights.
Yeah, it's
less showcase. Who do you have for that one?
I have Formiga just because I think he's fought higher level fighters. He's coming off a loss, I believe, but because of the higher level opposition, I'm leaning him towards him. Alex Perez is legit, and I think this is going to be the real test for him. I just don't think he's cut out there yet. But if he does win, he's in title shot picture.
Talking, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I don't know enough about either of these guys, so I might have to lean with you and pick Formiga. But the next one, definitely going with Byrd. I see him coming back because I think he's coming off two straight TKO losses, and I don't know. I just see him. He's quite talented, and I just see him kind of lighting a bit of a fire under his ass to get him back into things. So I just see him coming away with this win no matter what. But I don't know a whole bunch about Pitolo.
All I really know about Pitolo is he has one of the coolest names in the UFC. Coconut Bombs is unreal. But Charles Byrd is legit as they come. I mean, he's coming off, like you said, 2 TKO losses, but his last one was against Edmund Shabazian. He's right up there. He could be 2-3 fights away from a title shot. So, exactly. Charles Byrd on this one for me. But it's just a toss-up. I don't know much about either one. There's not enough film on either one in the UFC. Byrd's only had 3 fights. Pitolo has had 1, so not a whole lot to go with for these fights.
Definitely going to lean with Byrd for that one.
Next one, Cody Stamann and Brian Kelleher. This one's fun. They were going back and forth on Twitter before, so this should be exciting.
What were they saying?
Well, it was before Kelleher's last fight. So Kelleher accepted the fight with Hunter Azar, and Cody Stamann was like, "Why are you chickening out? Why are you fighting him? Like, I've been calling your name out." And he's like, "Let me deal with Hunter, and then I got you." So,
right. A little bit behind this fight.
Yeah, I don't know. It was friendly, but there was a bit of trash talk, but not too aggressive.
Not Conor Khabib level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think Stamann's going to take this one. His ground game's really good, really good, and I just find like defensively he's really, really good. I think Brian's going to have a hard time reaching him, but if he lands, like, it's lights out. So, yeah, I think I'm still going to have to go with Stamann on that one for sure.
Yeah, I have Stamann as well. Similar reasons. I just think he's fought higher level competition than Kelleher. Like, as impressive as that knockout was against Hunter Azar, he wasn't really, or he wasn't ranked. He hasn't beaten a ranked opponent.
Yeah.
So that's the only other thing that makes me kind of go back and forth is the loss in Cody Stamann's family. Like, his brother passed away last week. So, question is, how does he fight with emotion? And if he does, who knows how that turns out? Could be a Walt Harris type scenario.
Yeah, exactly. I was really rooting for him on that one, and then, so yeah, I think he'll either have a rough time handling the emotions with that one, or he'll have a Isaiah Thomas in basketball play. He's like lost his sister and then dropped like 51 points or something like the next day in a playoff game.
Yeah, didn't what's the quarterback for Green Bay Packers before Aaron Rodgers? What's his name? He lost his dad and then played that night and had like 6 touchdown passes or something.
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't even remember.
I heard of that though. I know I'm horrible with football, but
yeah, Brett Favre. I don't know anything about football either, but Brett Favre.
Yeah, that name's definitely familiar. But yeah, so I'm definitely hope the best for him, but that's definitely rough a week before a huge fight like this. Ooh.
Yeah. And then Ian Heinisch, Gerald Meerschaert. That's actually, I think this could be a fight of the night candidate. I think a lot of people are overlooking this as fight of the night. Heinisch obviously is holding on to that 13th spot, I think, in the middleweight division, but he's coming off back-to-back losses. Meerschaert lost a split decision to Eric Anders, your boy, Eric Anders.
Is he ranked?
Meerschaert's not. Heinisch is.
Who? I I don't think I've ever seen Heinisch fight.
He lost to Kevin Holland, Jack Hermanson, and Thiago Santos and Eric Anders. He beat Deron Wynn, Trevin Giles, Oscar Pichota, and Eric Spicely. So he's 4-4 in the 6-4 in the UFC.
I think I watched
fight 3 of his last 5.
Win. Yeah, I don't know who are you picking for that one?
I've been going back and forth, but I think ultimately I picked Meerschaert. Just based on the fact he won his last fight. It's kind of a toss-up. I'm rooting for Heinisch because I don't like guys going on 3-fight losing skids unless I strongly dislike them.
Yeah, no, I do feel horrible about somebody going 3 fights in a row. Just like Cody coming up. Whew. Yeah. All right. I don't know either of them well, but I might go with Heinisch on that one. But the next fight that's where I'm really excited. I love anyone that looks like Ben Askren, Sean O'Malley. Love the funky hair.
Yeah, so I feel like the next 6 fights are actually going to be exciting. We know quite a bit about most of them, I think. So it's easier for us to like break them down, whereas before it's like toss-ups. We caught glimpses of them. Chase Hooper is hilarious. He looks like he's 13.
Yeah. I had no idea he's the youngest at 20 years old.
Yeah, he was signed at 19. He was when he was signed, he was the youngest fighter to ever fight in the UFC.
Jeez. Yeah, he's watching him on Embedded and stuff. He's just so young. And I'm assuming that Alex Caceres, or however you say his last name, has a good amount more experience than him.
Yeah, he's fought over 20 times in the UFC. He fought Uriah Faber, 15-12.
But I don't like his ground game that much, and I really enjoy Hooper's ground game. I think he's either the experience is gonna be there, and he's gonna like just stop him from takedowns and stuff, and kind of pick him apart on the feet. Or Hooper's just going to, I think, take him to the ground and go to work and just do what he wants down there. But I'm hoping for Hooper, but I don't know if he's ready for like the experience yet.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately it's like youth versus experience. Similar to that first fight, Herbert Burns and Evan Dunham, and similar to O'Malley and Wineland, which we're going to talk about here in a second. It's a young up-and-comer fighting a veteran. It's like a real test to see how good he really is. So Chase Hooper's undefeated, but like you said, I mean, the experience of Alex Caceres goes a long way. Ultimately, I did go with Hooper just because of the fact he's undefeated. But Alex Caceres is a problem. Like he's the guy that stopped Sergio Pettis as well, because Sergio Pettis was on a tear when he was young, hungry. Caceres stopped him.
And he's pretty lanky too, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he's lanky. He calls himself Bruce Leroy, which I love. But but yeah, I have Chase Hooper as well. I don't see it being a finish. I just see he beats him 2-1 in a unanimous decision.
Yeah, I could see it going that way. I don't really see him finishing it. Might just control him on the ground for a couple rounds. But yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is if he can't get it to the ground, then it'll be a rough day for him. But I don't think he's going to have too much of a problem there.
All right, now we're going to kick off the main card. Now it's when things get fun.
Yes.
So starting off with the Sugar Show.
What do you think of his new hair?
I think if he loses, he's going to look like an idiot.
Yeah, definitely.
But it works for him. If anybody else did it, it wouldn't. Like, imagine if like Ben Askren did that, or like GSP or one of these guys.
Oh Yeah. I can't see him losing this fight.
Yeah, I think Eddie Wineland's going to be in his face. Eddie Wineland's going to fight his style, which is just like a dog fight. And that's the type of guy that Sean O'Malley likes to fight because he'll keep him at range. He'll pick him apart. I know Eddie Wineland's tough, but I'm assuming it's going to be a second round TKO Sean O'Malley.
Oh, I really think his ground game has improved so much. I remember watching so many months ago, he was on one of the quintet like jiu-jitsu tournament team. And I forget who.
Gomi. I think it was Takanori Gomi, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he tapped him. And but even watching in his last fight, there was one point when his opponent like rushed him, and he just like shifted out with his hips and just like tossed him against the cage like it was nothing. And so I'm really excited to see. He was saying even in some videos I was watching, he's like, I consider myself more. He's like, obviously everyone like knows me as a striker, but he's like, I kind of consider myself more of like a jiu-jitsu fighter now. He's like, but obviously you're still going to see all the flashy stuff. But so I'm really excited to see that. Yeah,
I think it's going to be a good test for him because Eddie Wineland's really seen it all. I mean, he fought Uriah Faber, he fought Scott Jorgensen, he fought a lot of really tough guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what O'Malley can do against a guy with that much experience.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, he's developed so much, and I think unlike anybody else who's really like he didn't fight for 2 years because of marijuana violations or whatever, and I think that's really kind of lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
I think he's like trying to make up for lost time, and I think he's really motivated, and I think a lot of people would like take that and become like when they fight again. I think that the ring rust is too strong, but I think for him, like I think it. Especially because he's so young, it gave him 2 more years to just, get better. So I think he's going to come out, and I think he's going to be a real threat. And I think if he beats Eddie Wineland, he can start calling for bigger names. Like I think he could be.
If he beats him, I think he can start taking most of the guys in the bantamweight division. But it's just one thing I've noticed about him is he's so calm when he comes out and when he
fights. All the marijuana.
I'm saying, like he's such a chill like person. Like he's just always smoking weed, like playing video games with his on Twitch with the streamers and stuff. And he's like watching his podcasts and stuff. Like he's like lives like a very like zen, like chill life. And I wonder if that has anything because like just watching him fight, like he is so calm and relaxed in there. It like seems like nothing phases him.
It reminds me a lot of a young John Jones. Like he's throwing stuff that is risky.
Yeah.
He's never been clipped. He's never been hurt. So he's so confident. And John Jones had a lot of that. He wasn't smoking weed. He was doing cocaine. But a lot of the similar characteristics of just being calm and cool and collected in the cage. And I think Sean O'Malley carries a lot of that.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. I think Eddie's probably going to be his hardest test for sure. But it's hard for me to not pick Sean on that one.
Yeah. And then we have Neil Magny, Anthony Rocco Martin. I love Magny. I think he's a great fighter. I think he looked really good in his last fight. But I always find when he gets that chance to shine, and like he got against Kelvin, he got against Ponzinibbio. Anytime he gets a chance to jump into the top 15, he falls short.
Yeah,
and I think this is going to be another case of that. I think Anthony Rocco Martin is really impressive, and I think ever since he moved up to 170, a lot of people don't really know a whole lot about him, and I think he's out to prove that he belongs amongst the elite in the welterweight division. He went to majority decision with Damian Maia, which is crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and one of the guys I had on my podcast is really good friends with him, so I have to lean towards him.
I picked Neil Magny just for the thought that I was like, you know what, maybe this one time he's going to shine tonight, but I'm weary on that. But I think I'm going to go with Magny on that one.
He did look really good last time out. He like destroyed Li Jingliang, so
I'm, but I think it might be a decision. I don't know if I see a finish.
Yeah, I don't see a finish in this fight. I think that one's just going to be a technical battle, and whoever can impose their will win the fight.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the most exciting fight, but it's going to be very technical for sure.
Yeah. And now we have fight of the night written all over this fight. Possibly fight of the year. Hasn't even happened yet, but I'm predicting that. Aljamain Sterling, who should be fighting for the belt.
Yeah.
Or Sandhagen, who could also be fighting for the belt. This could really be a title fight. And their third fight of the like.
This could be like a title fight, and then they say whoever wins, Peter Yan faces them for the belt after that. But I'm picking Cory Sandhagen because I want him to win. But for some reason, I can't really see him beating Sterling, but I also can't see Sterling beating him.
Yeah.
They're both really, really good.
Yeah, so I was having this conversation with Randy Costa yesterday. It was kind of cool to hear his thoughts on it. But one of the things that came up was Cory Sandhagen hasn't even really been tested. John Lineker was a tough fight, but it's a tough fight for everybody. It seems like he can adapt his game plan to whoever he fights. He's never really been in a rough spot. He's very unusual and awkward to fight. But you can almost say the same thing about Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, that's why. Because I was at first too. I was thinking that Cory Sandhagen, I found that he's been a lot bigger, a lot lengthier than his opponents. And Sterling isn't he's not going to be. I think he still might have a little bit of reach and stuff, but I don't think he's going to have anything crazy on him. And so, yeah, I don't. He hasn't been tested enough. Yeah, I really don't know how I see this one going at all.
Yeah, Aljamain Sterling, he's won 6 of his last 7. His only loss was to Marlon Moraes, which was that knee.
Was that knee?
Yeah. But he won his last 4, which includes Cody Stamann, Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera, and Brad Johns. It's a very impressive list.
Yeah. And it's hard to pick against Sterling, but
yeah, I have Sandhagen, but could go this one because a toss up. I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling won this, but I think it's going to be just a tough decision. But I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I think Sandhagen wins by decision. But I just think he reminds me a lot of Tony Ferguson, in, his awkwardness and attacks, and he does weird things. I noticed he does this really weird thing where I was watching a lot of fights where guys will hit you with a body shot and they'll come in and pull it back out, and he just lunges in with the hardest body power shot, but he stays there. He doesn't back up. He just comes into you and stops abruptly, held against you, and they just look painful. And yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
I was having this conversation with one of the Bloody Canvas guys, and we were like, who would the UFC rather have as their champion? And Cory Sandhagen, as impressive as he is and as awkward as he is as a fighter, there's not he reminds me a lot of Joe Lozon. He's not out there calling anybody out. He's not being loud on Twitter.
Yeah,
which is why I like him. But he's not a Conor McGregor. Exactly. Aljamain Sterling is out there calling for anybody. He's calling out Peter Yan. It's almost like the UFC would almost rather him win.
That's how I feel. One thing I found pretty interesting, I was listening to Chael's podcast, and he was bringing up, I guess Sterling was in an interview talking about it or something, but I guess, I'm not sure how long ago it was, but he was at Mark Henry's gym, training. And he was can you spar with this guy or something? And he was he's just this real lanky guy or whatever. And he's only 10 pounds more than you right now. And he was okay, go in there. Didn't know who he was. Turns out it was Zabit.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. He got knocked out by Zabit.
Oh, yeah. I don't see Sandhagen knocking him out though, but I see it. I see him winning a decision.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Now the co-main event, Raphael Assuncao, who's coming off 2 losses, versus Cody Garbrandt, who's coming off 3 losses. So I saw this. Someone posted on Twitter earlier. This is the only time, or second time in UFC history where a co-main event was by 2 guys who were coming off back-to-back losses. The last time it was Nick Diaz, Anderson Silva.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty interesting stat.
I would have never even thought about that. Oh, no. I didn't know Assuncao was off 2.
Yeah.
Well, I'd rather him. He needs to try out with 3 losses. He's such a nice guy too, but I want him to lose just because I love Cody so much.
Yeah, he's lost to Cory Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes.
I see Cody beating pretty much most bantamweights, pretty much any bantamweight except for TJ Dillashaw. His hands are just so heavy, and yeah, no, I think it's actually. I'm changed my mind now. I think this is gonna be easy. This is gonna be either first or second round knockout by Cody.
I'm rooting for Cody, and I wasn't gonna make my decision until the weigh-ins because I was like, if he's out there and he's in his face being crazy, I'm like, he's losing it. But he went to the weigh-ins. He was respectful. There wasn't a whole lot of animosity, not any bad blood. So I was like, okay, I think he's calm. He's composed. He's not angry like he was against TJ.
That was not good for him.
So I think when I made my predictions on Thursday, I had Raphael Assuncao winning, just because I figured he was just going to do it again. But I think he's taken a lot of time off. He's worked a lot on himself. He's been working with Mark Henry, so he's going to be able. That's going to go a long way. And I think he's going to be cool, calm, collected. So I haven't seen Uriah Faber either, and I find Uriah Faber ends up pumping him up way more than he needs to be pumped up.
Yeah, like I don't want to say those guys aren't good fighters at Alpha Male or anything. Like they got a lot of great talent over there, but I just think that environment for him might not be the best choice. Like just in that kind of literally that Alpha Male kind of environment. Bunch of young guys. Not that there isn't young guys over at Mark Henry, but he seems more of an old school kind of respect kind of coach.
Yeah, and I know they have what's the bantamweight's name? The guy that got knocked out and then hasn't really been back since. He got knocked out in practice by TJ. Anyway, he's in the corner. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Chris Holdsworth. Yeah, I know he's there. I know he's around. But he tends to be calm. It's the guys like Chad Mendez, the Uriah Fabers. Those guys get worked up. So I think not having Uriah in his corner actually is going to be favorable for him and being able to work with guys like Mark Henry. So I think now that we're the night of, I saw them weigh in. I saw the embeddeds. I think I'm leaning towards Garbrandt. But I did predict Assuncao on Thursday, so I'll probably have to go with that one just because I've already committed.
Already committed. You're in too deep.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the last one. This is. Whew.
I think it's fair to say we're both rooting for Spencer.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Canadian girl win the belt, but that's as far as I can go for favoring her in a pick. Is being of the same nationality of me and wanting to see Canadian win the belt. No, Amanda, she's so good.
Yeah.
But how many? I think it was, did Spencer go 3 or 4 rounds maybe with Cyborg?
She went to decision. I think it was a 5-round fight. It was a 5-round fight.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 5-minute round. No, 3 rounds, sorry. But she went to decision, so.
Okay. Well, I might see it go into decision then, but I don't even know if I see it going to decision. I feel like Amanda Nunes is going to knock her out.
I have a decision, but just because of the fact that Felicia Spencer's never been finished, but it's also Amanda Nunes we're talking about here, so she can go in there and destroy her. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I do have a feeling Amanda Nunes will have her hand raised.
Yeah, I definitely think she's going to have her hand raised, and I can't see anybody finishing Spencer, but Nunes is just so good. So, I see it either being like a midway TKO for Amanda or decision win for her.
Yeah, I was talking to Randy Costa yesterday, and I asked him his prediction, and he was just like, Amanda Nunes beats half the guys on the male roster. He's like, if she was fighting me, I'd be betting on her. Like,
yeah.
And I think that's a good point. I mean, she has dominated everybody. She beat every champion, every female champion in the bantamweight and featherweight division.
Yeah, that fight against Cyborg was ridiculous.
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing, though. What if Felicia Spencer does get it done? Like, what do you do with the division?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about that too last night, because if she wins, she just beat the GOAT. And I don't even think she had a fight since Cyborg. I think this is her first.
She fought Duran to me.
Oh, I thought she literally went from losing the Cyborg fight to fighting right now. Okay. All right.
Oh, you mean Felicia Spencer? Yeah, she beat Zara Farn.
Okay. All right. That's
don't really know a whole lot about her, but
yeah, no, that would definitely be weird if she won.
Yeah, but if she won, they'd have to build the division. Like, I feel like they'd have no choice but to build a 145-pound division. Because right now there's Amanda Nunes, Megan Anderson, Zara Farn, Norma Dumont, and her. And she already beat Megan Anderson, Zara Farn, and then Amanda Nunes. So she would have already beaten, like, the entire division.
Yeah, they have to get something going there.
Or they just feed her back to Amanda and hope Amanda wins the second time.
I think that's definitely what the UFC would have to do.
Yeah.
They would have to pull that off as a big fluke and then have her try and win it again. But yeah, I'm still thinking back when I watched what's her face? I can't even think of her name now. Ronda Rousey, when she came back against Amanda.
That was bad, man.
Yeah. Oh.
It's funny looking back at how much hype Ronda had. Like, knowing what we know now, it's like, why? Like, she was terrible on the feet, but she was steamrolling everybody there for a bit. But it's always fun in retrospect. Same with, like, Ben Askren. Like,
yeah.
But.
And Ben had the weirdest UFC run ever. That was.
Well, even the Robbie fight, like, he was getting demolished and then got pulled off, and it was controversial.
And
then got kneed into. That was bad knee.
Yeah, that probably was not the run into the UFC he anticipated.
No. I mean, I think UFC kind of proved their point with it. Like, they lost DJ in the process. But I think Dana White just wanted to prove, like, he's not as good as everyone says he is. The best fighters are in the UFC. And then they fed him to Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal destroyed him.
He's made quite the turnaround, too, in the last little bit. Although, I don't know what's going on now with all this everyone's talking about, like, drop me.
Yeah, I mean, it's John Jones, Henry Cejudo just retired, and Jorge Masvidal wants to go too. So it's like 3 fighters all saying I'm leaving because the pay is shit.
Do you think either Ben or not Ben? Do you think John Jones or Jorge actually leaves?
I don't think Jones leaves. I think Jones says, like, look, I'm done for a bit, but I think they work something out because you can't have the greatest fighter of all time just walk away.
Yeah.
It looks terrible on the sport as a whole. Like, even if you have to pay him a little more than you want, I don't think you want to lose that fighter. And that, I mean, he may not be as big of a draw as a Conor McGregor, but he's the best fighter of all time. Imagine if like Tyson Fury was just like, I'm done with boxing. You guys aren't paying me enough. They'd figure something out.
Exactly. But I'm really excited to see Jorge Masvidal back, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm hearing they're doing Burns and Usman, though. Like, I think that's what they're doing.
Damn.
Yeah. So I think Leon can't leave the UK, so he can't get the fight. Masvidal is refusing to take it because he feels like he deserves more. He says fighting Nate he makes more fighting Nate, and it's not as risky as Usman. So he'd rather do that fight. And Burns is just like, I'll fight anybody tomorrow. So I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. And then Tyron Woodley just got beat. Then there's the only other thing is, I wouldn't mind seeing Colby fight Usman again.
No, I wouldn't either, but I don't think they'd do it. I think he has to pick up another win. Like, I was doing the matchmaking, like writing it out how I would do it, and I'd want to see Masvidal Usman just because I feel like Masvidal has so much hype. I don't think he beats Usman, but that's the fight I want to see. And then I'd do Burns, Leon Edwards on Fight Island, and then Colby versus Wonderboy.
Oh,
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I just really want to see Colby back. I hated him at first, but now I love him.
I love him too.
He's like the more I just accept the fact that he's just this whole character, and it's just to get people to hate him. I think it's so hysterical and how horrible like some of his like ads are, and like having girls around that literally look like they hate him. And
yeah, it's funny because I think Wonderboy and him are like polar opposites. Like, Wonderboy is the nicest guy in the UFC, and then everybody hates Colby. I love that fight.
I'd be so interested to see Colby's trash talk for that.
Yeah, how would you even get under Wonderboy's skin?
Oh my goodness, I want to see that fight so bad now.
I was looking at a clip of Woodley when he fought Wonderboy the second time, and they were asking him, like, they were on like a media call, and they were like, Woodley said something negative about Wonderboy, and they were like, Wonderboy, what do you think about it? And he goes, I don't know why he's got to be so mean. Like, it was just like,
yeah, he's far too nice to be a fighter. Oh,
it's. I was watching the video of him also like analyzing when he got knocked out by Pettis.
Oh, I saw that.
Like, it's funny. Like, guys like that are hard not to root for.
Yeah. I still want to see Colby versus Woodley, but I don't know when Woodley will be back.
Yeah, Woodley looked awful. I think like his last two fights, he looked terrible.
Yeah, I just don't know if he has enough fire to like fight whatsoever, because it's just like even in some of his last wins, like it was, I don't know, not saying like he needed to finish every win or it should have been a better win, like, you're not in there fighting, but it just seemed like he has no urgency anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you get rid of the Till fight. Like, the Till fight was the exception, but like his last fights were Burns, Usman, Wonderboy ×2, and both of those he didn't look himself. No. Damian Maia, he looked awful.
Yeah, that was not a great fight.
So, I mean,
was that a decision?
Yeah, it was a unanimous decision, but he like just didn't engage. He did whatever it took to win, I guess, but
yeah, I kind of don't see him coming back.
No, I think he should hang it up and just focus on rapping.
Yeah, I used to think, I kind of want to see him versus Colby, and I'd kind of want Colby to win, but I was like, I kind of see him just knocking Colby out. But I don't see that anymore at all.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Robbie Lawler almost, like.
Yeah, Robbie used to be popping people, and
yeah, they're both fun fighters when they choose to fight, but they just both have kind of like lost it a bit. And I think that's the fight they'll do. I think Robbie Lawler versus Tyron Woodley is the fight they'll do. But
that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't like it because I like both guys. I want both guys to win, but
neither of them to lose, but someone has to. All
right, man. I am gonna grab a quick bite to eat, post this video, and get ready for these fights. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a long start because nothing exciting happens until Chase Hooper. So
exactly, yeah. All right. Well, I'm about to do the same, except posting the video. I'll leave that to you. All right,
man.
Thanks for
all the best, and we'll do this again.
Yes. All right. Later, Sergio.
All right.